option, and Vayne, Kai'Sa as well.
And I was gonna say that right now.
But you know what else is up? I was just gonna say, what else is up is the Senna. Also been banned in pretty much every single game. I think it is 100% ban rate so
That's
far.
true.
But I feel
that's
you can't
in.
do this. I feel like it's like you pick the Senna and Nasus is still open, but you're leaving out the Lulu and they're not being picked.
Oh.
I find this interesting. Like, it seems like both teams are trying to set a trap. Like, it seems like they both have prepared counters.
At the same time, if you see the Senna locked in, you don't need to lock in the Lulu, right? You don't need to lock it in immediately. You can grab something like the Riven, which is a little higher priority instead, and maybe the Gragas, which...
There it is.
Okay, yep, so we do see the Senna Nasus.
They have to pick it now, though.
And the Camille, okay.
They have to pick it now, though, because if they don't pick it, it's going to get banned by T1. So let's see what RIX chooses to prioritize, whether it's going to be the Lulu or the Yuumi.
I wonder what could be the option here, because then again, there's still the Ziggs open. Do you want to throw the towel and just be a wave clear bot at the bottom portion of the map just to try and match the Senna, not die? The Varus also is a good option. Makes me wonder if they're going for Varus Thresh over here, because Varus Thresh is a very oppressive bot lane and can roam a lot for RIX. So we saw earlier, RIX got a very amazing early game. Varus Thresh is also very strong to enable that. Thresh is also an amazing pair with Lee Sin, by the way.
True, and they also have the Gragas, which could also be the pair with Varus.
That is true.
Double ultimates, it can find engages, find picks. So they're kind of holding flexibility in their draft for right now. And T1, they have the same read as you, Riku. There's that Thresh banned away.
That's the thing, right? We talked about Snitch can play anything, so the Gragas can still be towards mid lane. Again, Rick's so unpredictable, so T1 does not want to take that risk.
Yeah, definitely. And you just have... The beauty about RIX's draft right here is you don't know where anyone is going. Riven can go jungle, Riven can go Baron lane, Riven can go mid lane. Gragas can go literally everywhere, and then you only know that the Varus is in the bot lane. And you know what I want to mention? I don't want to get hopes up or the hype up. Right? I just want to mention it.
No, come on, Hell, sell me on it.
Okay.
AP Varus could potentially happen. Potentially. I'm saying potentially. I don't want to get hopes up, but this is a thing that Doom loves to play. He loves it, but I'm not sure if his coaches are going to allow him to play it. But if you look at the draft right now, Nasus is the biggest tank in the game. We have Camille, who is somewhat tanky as well. And if we get a little bit more tanks / semi-tanks on T1, it could happen.
It does make sense, right? We saw the Corki already doubling down on the health percentage damage items. The same thing can be applied on the Varus against T1 here with the composition that you mentioned. Yuumi is still banned, so T1 is really reading RIX that this Gragas is going to be elsewhere.
Oh, Shen is left up, so they go for the Shen pick. Now, Riven or Gragas could still go into the jungle position depending on what they want to go for. And, I mean, honestly, we haven't really seen it at the competitive stage, but I still am a believer that things like support Shen can be viable. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's a little hopey right now on the Icon stage.
You're totally right, because the weakness of Shen bot lane supports is if you're against an AP champion in the bot lane, and guess what? They're not exactly against the Ziggs this time, so they do have leeway to flex that there.
And AP Varus makes sense now. They have a Graves as well. AP Varus absolutely makes sense right here. Now I'm curious to see whether or not RIX actually does it. That's the real question, right? And what is going to be the mid laner for T1? That's the real question, because they've picked everyone for every single role. Are they going to pick the Veigar?
I mean, I wouldn't hate maybe something like a laning Lulu. If you have the Graves and the Senna, you can keep this Nasus alive forever, but no, they want the wave clear. Okay, this makes a little more sense now that I think about it. They can just shove waves, and it rounds out a little more of their damage composition.
Yeah, they really need something that can match the wave clear and the poke that the Varus provides, so I love this from T1. Trying to match the draft for RIX. And this time around, there's still a big mystery for RIX's draft. We don't know where people are going, which champions are going where.
And that's a strength of RIX, right? Like we've talked about it before. These guys, like, you don't know what they're playing, you don't know what they'll pick, and while it's a strength, it can also be a weakness. They picked the Diana in the mid lane.
Okay, the reason I'm excited about this, NA plays a lot of Diana. So I can understand this champion to a pretty decent extent, but okay, wait, they're still swapping it around. I'm assuming it's going to be Diana in the mid lane, Shen Baron with Riven jungle there. A lot of engage, a lot of skirmish power, a lot of CC, and you look at T1, where is their peel? Who is going to stop all this engage from happening? The answer is pretty much nobody. I mean, they got Smokescreen, they got the Zig Satchel, but like, they do not have a lot of tools to get people off of them.
There's literally only one champion that is amazing at disengage right now in the meta, which is Gragas. And where's Gragas? It's over towards RIX.
T1 has gone all in on a very high scaling composition. And to me, Stuart, that's them saying, RIX, we don't believe in you being able to close out in the mid game.
Yeah, they can just say, okay, we can just outplay you in the mid and the late game, and that's what they did in the previous game with a little bit of a mistake by Seven in the previous game. Interesting enough, BDG's gone for Fleet Footwork, which actually got changed quite recently as well. The healing has been reduced, but also now Fleet Footwork gives back mana, which is quite an interesting one. So potentially looking at BDG, looking to try and get as many souls as possible, keep on using the stacks as well, and you can see how aggressive they're already playing in the bot side.
I mean, between the Fawn of Life procs from Nasus and already the Piercing Shadow, you're getting a decent amount of sustain already without necessarily needing Grasp of the Undying for the house stacking. I think now this just allows you to stay in lane forever against someone like Varus, who wants to just constantly shoot out arrows to make sure that you are pushing the wave back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is as well for Doom is that Doom has his third ability, which is the healing reduction. So when he uses the third ability, the Halo Arrows, then he's able to get the healing reduction as well down. So if people haven't seen this before, Senna Nasus, even though BDG and Senna is going to be the carry, Senna is not going to be taking any souls at all. I mean, sorry, isn't going to be taking any minions at all, and it is going to be Penguin that's going to be taking the minions away, and Senna's going to be stacking the souls. But again, look, Seven's in this Baron lane again. They're really trying to shut Jong down.
Jong recognizing, hey, I saw this in game 1, but they're still going to go for it. An early flash, but allows Random to land the taunt easily. Seven should be able to pack in the damage. Random taking the last turret shot. First blood does go over to RIX, but Jong is able to trade back.
Really nice play. You know, the use of the flash, use of the hook shot as well to be able to escape. Not the best tower dive. Again, you can see what the game plan is for RIX coming in, and JY realizing that SC7 was on the opposite side of the map, but Snitch could get a little bit caught here.
Oh, you got to be careful. Flashing away, and then the quick Lunar Rush to make sure he gets out of harm's path from JY, who was taking advantage of the fact that Seven was on the Baron side of the map, invading, trying to counter jungle as well. But taking a look at the replay for the dive once more.
Yeah, we're going to take a look back at this replay at the dive. You can see that Random and Seven are trying to use the minions to try and catch him out. Really nice taunt, a really nice play, but the problem is that actually the slow on Camille's second ability actually makes it so Random doesn't escape, and even Seven has to flash straight afterwards. So even though, you know, Random didn't get a kill or anything, you know, he's behind in gold, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, it's a little bit of a trade-off in terms of jungle is ahead for RIX, but now the Baron lane is ahead for T1.
And it is important for RIX to be ahead in that jungle matchup, because we know that JY on this Graves, it is by far his most signature pocket pick. Just looking at the stats once again, 7 picks overall during the WCK playoffs. This is something that JY has gone to time and time again. And even though T1 aren't necessarily a dire straits mode as they have won the first game, but it goes to show that JY is looking back on comfort to make sure that he can close out the series alongside T1.
And they've done this before as well, where they put JY on this hyper carries. I say that clue, really nice explosive cast.
And it forces the flash out of Penguin. He gets out alive, but now it's a summoner spell advantage. Meanwhile, mid lane, Jong locking down Snitch, knowing that he doesn't have flash from before, but the stand United Shield from Random saves his mid laner from going down.
Oh, it was close. It's back and forth, and now Seven's coming in.
Wind Slash at the ready, already popped on the Jong, a lot of burst damage, and RIX with a counterattack takes out the Baron laner of T1.
We normally see the supports roaming around, but this game is the Baron laners roaming. You got Jong roaming into the mid lane, you got Random coming in with the Stan United as well. Really nice play on the side of RIX. But as I was mentioning, you know, with T1, they've played this sort of style before, where they like to put JY on the carry, and the rest of his team just plays like this utility AP sort of wave clear, and they just use JY as their main carry, and then you just have Senna and Nasus, which is just really annoying to deal with. You have the wave clear with Ziggs in mid lane, and you have the lockdown as well from Jong in the Baron lane.
Right, it's the story of T1 all-inning on essentially a very full-on scaling composition. And JY, once you give him a lot of time for resources, he is going to be a huge threat.
RIX as well. They're going towards this Baron lane. BDG is here, though. Nasus is going to stay in the bot lane, but basically BDG is the support, so that's why you're seeing him roam around instead. But essentially, needs to be a little bit careful. He's completely fine for now, but you can see RIX, again, just going back and back and back to that Baron lane. You can see they're trying to get some deep vision in as well.
Oh,
That's a great pick.
Yeah, RIX have all completely isolated out core. He's not on the mobile Ahri this time around. It's on Ziggs, and without the satchel charge, you're not getting out of a pick like that alive. But T1, once again, going back to the Dragon as their priority.
The Ziggs is dead though, so it looks like Random and also Snitch as well.
Snitch is looking to capitalize. Moonfall forcing the flash out of JY. He distanced back, but he's back in it with a true grit. Looking to stack up the armor, but Snitch dancing back and forth with the Lunar Rushes, gets out alive.
Here's Random.
The collateral damage is not going to take him out anytime soon. The rest of RIX are now starting to collapse. Jong is there with the Hex cultivator. Random's already come in, but he is able to take out JY, and now he's looking in the 1v2 against Jong and BDG. BDG's keeping him at an arm's length with the mist, locks him down, forcing him away, looking for a couple more auto attacks, but Random gets out alive. But the Rift Herald on the Baron side of the map. Meanwhile, this whole time, well, we're gonna have to pay attention to some other point. Snitch, wait, the Stand United shield. Random never used it. He's back in there, and he's got the Twilight Shroud. It protects Snix, but it's not going to be enough. Random now is able to trade back on the Jong, but flashing away from the dangers of BDG and Core. The bomb is what clips him in the end.
Like you said briefly as well, meanwhile, while this absolute fiesta was happening on the bot side of the map, Seven was able to take that top tower, and the Dragon's not even down yet. There's low health bars on the side of T1.
There's no smite from Seven. He's on the other side of the map. He's dealing with Penguin right now. He might be able to get the 1v1 against Penguin. Flashing forward, the Wither, but you cannot slow all the movement dashes from Seven with the broken wings. But Jong might be able to lock him down. He's got two other friends here in Doom, including to escort him out safely. JY looking for it. Doesn't have collateral damage. Clue interrupts the dash over the wall, and then now it distances himself. Oh! Doom looking like Legolas out there with the piercing arrow from downtown.
Times it perfectly. The Chain of Corruption to stop the dash from JY, and then the snipe as well from the piercing arrow. JY goes down, and so this is a little bit more of a scrappier game, Rafa. You know, first game.
Yeah, this is what I like.
This is Wild Rift.
When Grand and Noma were casting series earlier, I was getting jealous. Like, oh man, these are bangers already. And then first game, like 2-1 for the first 10 minutes. This is what I want to see. Come on, RIX and T1, throw it down on the Rift.
Give us more team fights. This is what we love about Wild Rifts. So let's go back down a little bit. You know, RIX have a goal lead again. Is another, 3,000, 2,000 goal lead. They did get this in the previous game as well. T1 were able to secure that Dragon, and the Rift Herald went over to the side of RIX. But Seven in the top lane, he's gone.
You know, Seven has been doing some very impressive stuff on the Riven so far. However, you cannot outplay an Hextech Ultimatum.
You cannot indeed, because it's just going to lock them down. And meanwhile, Penguin, he's not going to be able to do anything about Stitch and Clue as well.
It's okay.
As they lock him down, it's just back and forth at the moment. Trades across the map.
Random trying to protect this Baron turret from going down. Meanwhile, Snitch and Clue getting as much damage onto the bottom turret as fast as they can. But thankfully for RIX, they already have done the damage of getting first brick thanks to the chaos that ensued during that first dragon fight that we saw.
Yeah, exactly. And JY Snitch doesn't know he's in there.
Oh, Snitch. He's got flash. Dodges out on the end of the line damage. JY not even bothering to pop the collateral damage.
I'm really liking how both these teams are playing this game, though. You know, they're trying to use the sideways. They're trying to get isolation kills onto players that are kind of by themselves. But Seven's back again.
I think he's almost got it. Oh, but that hook shot, though. Jong, very slippery champion on that. Camille, yeah, he cannot withstand the power of Seven, who is 2 items already on Black Cleaver and Death Stance right now, but he's got the safety to get out alive.
Yeah, he's got that mobility to come out and stay up alive. You probably thinking why Random is not split pushing right now, but he doesn't have his ultimate available. That means Seven is using that time to try and get the side wave control over to the side of RIX. And again, it's the RIX are the ones that are being proactive, which is kind of what we saw in game number 1.
Okay, Snitch clearing out the minion wave with the Moonfall. Doesn't quite clip Penguin for enough burst damage to threaten all-in lethal. Clue is rotating on over to give some support for Snitch to make sure that this tower doesn't go down. We have the second Rift Herald of the game coming up in the next 15 seconds, but it doesn't really seem like any teams are strongly prioritizing it for the rotation right now.
Now you can see a little bit of a trade in the top side here. John's having a very, very nice time as Clue.
Okay, flashing forward. No explosive cask available, though. This seems a little disastrous, though. JY being able to outplay and at least answer one back before Seven answers with the Wind Slash. 1 for 1, and now it's a 2-on-1 against Penguin. Remember, he doesn't have flash from before. Knock up with the broken wings. RIX gets it done.
Kill secure by Snitch. He didn't really do that much there, but he was just like, yeah, I'm just going to throw in my first ability and get the kill secure.
Come on, man. He's doing his best.
Random. Oh, we could outplay here.
1v2. Oh! True damage is a little hard to outplay there, Stuart.
Yeah, I mean, even though the true damage just get nerfed a few patches ago, it is still quite annoying to deal with. Breaks through the armor and magic resist. It doesn't matter. if you build Banshee's Veil like Random has done. But again, it's trades across the map. You know, 2 towers to 1 at the moment on the side of RIX. RIX still has that little bit of a gold advantage with the towers as well. But now with this Rift Herald, looks like JY is going to try and secure it.
All right, how do RIX get in here? They don't have Random here quite yet, but he has spawned up, and he has Stand United. So now you already know that T1 trying to respect it. 7 committing all the way forward on to JY, but he answers back on the clue. Snitch is on the right side of the map, but he is making sure that the rest of T1's backline is zoned away from the fight in the jungle quadrant. RIX already taking out Penguin and JY, and they're going to be able to pick up the Rift Herald on the back end.
You talk about how RIX going to get into it. That's how they're going to get into it. They're just going to fully engage with Clue and
They just
7.
brute force their way
Yeah,
in.
exactly. They knew that Random had the ultimate, able to get the ultimate down, and now 25 seconds until the Dragon as well. 7 trying to go in. I'm not too sure about that one. I don't think you're going to be going into that one. And 7 at times, this is where he can start to get a little bit overconfident. You know, we saw him make that little bit of a misplay that, I hate to say it, but kind of lost the game for RIX in that previous game, really.
Hey,
I mean,
you know what? You're the EU caster. You said it, not me. You know, you can set the EU fans ablaze on you on Twitter after this game.
I'm totally fine with that.
I think I saw something right before this match about how, hey, Stuart, all our hands are on. Everything depends on you and what you do. So
I think the players know me as like a bit of a caster curse at times. Which,
hey, me too. Back
sad.
over in NA.
Hey, we're blood partners.
Is
now.
that why we got paired together?
Who knows? Maybe everyone knows.
Okay, Jong with the Hextech ultimatum trying to answer back. It is very tough for BDG to get alive out of this one, though, and the rest of RIX are pushing forward, but they're all choked up. That's a lot of burst damage in response from Core and JY. Beautifully timed ultimates together. A lot of damage being done onto RIX. Stand United onto 7, making sure that he is staying alive. They go back in, Snitch with a moonfall, forcing a flash out of Penguin. They turn their eyes back onto the Dragon. Zhong all alone in that pit by himself. JY cannot get in there safely. And Penguin's trying to do as much damage as he can, but the poke coming out from Core and Penguin is going to be close for RIX. JY wants to go in. He wants to clean up the low health members from RIX here, but they are still standing strong as 5 members. Beautiful poke, though, from Penguin. Answering back, 2 members fall from RIX, and now they have to retreat. They are the ones on the back foot. Core from over the wall is finding snipe after snipe with these bombs.
The poke damage from this bot lane on the side of T1, sorry, not the bot lane, the Ziggs and the Nasus, you know, all this poke that's going over the other side of the wall. There's nothing that RIX could do about it. They group together, they try to take the Dragon, but when you're that low, when you're against a Nasus with the poke and also Core as well, you just die just like that.
Yeah, this is... I'm used to the Fimbulwinter Nasus, but I don't remember Ludens being built on Nasus before. If I'm not mistaken, it was usually like a Rylai's just for the utility, but the fact that it's Ludens means that every time he is throwing down the Spirit Fire, it's getting that additional burst on top of it.
Yeah, it gets the spread damage as well that splashes onto the nearest enemies as well. But like you said, you normally see like Liandry's and Rylai's going for more utility, going for more slows. We take a look at the Coca-Cola pop-off play in the bot side of this map. And again, it's RIX that kind of group together. You can see they all group together, but when you have the Nasus and then you have the Ziggs poke as well on top of that, there's nothing really that RIX can do. And then there's, again, 7 trying to dash in, then you have to use the Stand United on top of that, but look at all the low health bars. But they still try to play proactive. They still try to go in. Unfortunately, JY does get, Jong does get caught out. But look, Penguin's full health, Core's on the back line, using the bombs. And there's just nothing that RIX can do about it, and they just all fall.
Because they've expended most of their engagement tools already for the first part of the fight, and then they're forced away thanks to the poke from Penguin and Core. And they're just constantly whittling down RIX. And this is a great demonstration of just battle warfare from the side of T1. Yes, they lost the initial fight, but they didn't lose the war that ensued over the Dragon.
I think one thing that T1 did really, really well in the first game was kind of stop the aggression from RIX. They played really, really passive. It's not really something that we normally see from T1. They're normally the more aggressive, but you can see that they're adapting to this new meta. They're adapting to, you know, Sen and Nasus. Maybe we can play a little bit more slowly and play with this poke. But you can see that even though RIX were the ones that engaging and being proactive, it was actually T1 the ones who are in the back line just using that poke to get the advantage.
14 minutes into the game here, Stuart. And we find ourselves, even though, once again, RIX seeming like they had the mid-game advantage, T1 able to answer back, 7 finding himself in the 1v2 against JY and Jong, but Random is there to turn the tides of the battle, forcing both the Baron laner and jungler from T1 away. RIX coming in for reinforcements, Clue poking around, wants to get the final killing blow onto JY, explosive cast gets a stasis out of JY, but he is isolated from the rest of his teammates, and that is RIX collapsing in. They secure the kill, but what can they get off the map for it?
That is the jungler down. The Baron is up and available. Unfortunately, the Elder is not up like the previous game when the jungler got caught out. But yeah, like you said, 30 seconds. What are RIX going to do with it? They're going to go back for now. They're just going to spend the money that they got from that kill. Maybe look towards the top side of this map, towards the Baron. But for now, they're just going to play it slow. They're just going to go back to base. They're going to reset. They're going to calm down a little bit. And if we take a look at all the builds as well, nothing really stands out in terms of build. Like I think, like you said, you know, the Luda's Echo going for more burst damage, I think for Nasus is definitely helped him in this game, even though he has died a few times. But I think the extra damage with the poke has definitely helped out. But across the board, you know, Whole Breakers, Divine Sunderers, it's pretty standard.
Yeah, and it makes the wave clear even more insane as well for Penguin. So combine the fact that you have Ziggs wave clear, you have Nasus wave clear. You even see JY expending his ultimate as well just to push back waves and not give any room for RIX to be able to find opportunities to knock down turrets. This is how T1 were able to come back in game 1 as well. They held on, they didn't give a strong advantage over to RIX despite them winning a majority of the mid-game fights. We find themselves tied in gold. And for RIX, they wanted to end this game sooner, and now they have to be very, very crucial in the execution of the next upcoming fights, because those could be the last ones of the game.
It could be. The Elder Dragon is going to be spawning soon as well. Look at the Ziggs damage. That was one ultimate. That was one ability by Ziggs.
Ziggs bomb never fails to surprise me in terms of burst damage. It's just so disgustingly high you get later and later into the game.
There was a little bit of a trade in the bot side with Random and Jong at the moment, but nothing really going too well. And it looks like RIX are the ones that are trying to get the catch here at the moment. Unfortunately not, as they're just going to use a mid lane priority. They're going to push the minions, but we're in a bit of a situation now. We're in a bit of a scrappy situation, but the Elder Dragon is up in 30 seconds, and that could be the end of this game.
RIX, if you want the Baron, they are definitely fighting for mid prio, but they're hovering on the Baron side of the map, and they're trying to goad T1 into face checking the bush, because then they can capitalize with their engage, with their pick tools. But T1, they're not falling for the bait. They're maintaining control because they know that the Elder Dragon is the key to victory. And if they all collapse onto Random right before this Elder Dragon, it's going to be like game 1 all over again.
Oh, the Ziggs bomb was so close. It was really nice explosive cast though by Clue. But like you said, RIX were focusing on the top side of this map towards the Baron. But that just gave T1 this entire control. And 7, you're all by yourself, but he's going to use the Stand United.
Okay, so now RIX get to fight the fight that they wanted in game 1. All 5 members are here.
They're
collapsing. It's a Stand United coming in because one member from T1 is late. Jong trying to make sure that he can join the ties of the battle. Looking at the chain of corruptions, it's spreading to all the members of T1. They're getting locked up. RIX looking for the final bits of damage to close out the members of T1. Bottom lane is gone, but Snitch has also been in the dust here. RIX looking to see forward. It's all on 7. He's still got a GA. He's still got a second life in this one. Jong trying to answer back on the damage. Tactical precision enough to take out 1. But it's still a GA that needs to be popped from 7. Core all alone goes golden. Can he be protected? The GA is popped. Jong is just going absolutely crazy in this fight. He has absolutely annihilated members of RIX. 1 after 1 after 1! A quadra kill for Jong!
And Jong was in the backline the entire time. He didn't take any damage at all. He waited until the members were low as well. And that is a prime gaming ace over to the side of T1. They're going to take this Elder Dragon and they're going to take full control of this game.
How do they keep doing it, Stuart? I thought that this time around in this replay, you see that RIX, they're the ones, they had the numbers advantage. 5 on 4, but then Jong comes in for second win of T1, and it is what saves this fight.
And again, it's RIX the ones that have been proactive. It's RIX the ones with the aggression. They're going in for tower dives, even on tier 2 towers as well. But like you mentioned, all eyes on Jong. Look at him. He escapes. He's on full life. All the members of RIX are so low. So he comes in. He picks off Clue as well. Doom as well with the collateral damage from Gragas. He jumps onto him as well. And look, everyone's just low. Jong is full life. And RIX are still going in. Look at them. They're trying to kill down Ziggs. And that's what started this fight. They tried to take down Core. Core flashed away, used the hill as well, and they weren't able to take him down, and that was the pinnacle moment.
The micro interactions and the decision making from T1. You could see the communication is just so crazy. Even the reaction from Coach June, just so relieved that T1 were able to pull off that miracle fight and secure the Elder Dragon. The game is not over yet, though. Snitch, Moonfall engaged, has Stand United, but it looks like he's getting bursted out before Random can even arrive. And now Doom and Clue and Seven have to retreat from the members of T1. 4 was able to be traded out on the back end of it, but Jong is hitting on the Nexus right now. Random's trying to hold him back, but he's losing health fast, and the rest of RIX are looking to collapse, but that is ceding control of the rest of the map.
Yep, Jong using that as a distraction, gets the inhibitor tower on the bot side of the map. There's not really much that RIX can do right now. The Elder Dragon has gone over to T1. They got the other dragons as well. They got the Ocean Dragon and the Infernal Dragon. And now it's just T1 in full control. You know, T1 can maybe look towards the Baron here. They got the inhibitor down the bot side of the map as well. And that means that Jong can use that pressure in the bot side with the super minions as well, and with Hullbreaker to try and even finish the game.
RIX are looking for a way to still maintain stability in this game, but after being neck and neck with T1 for so long, they now find themselves down 7,000 gold here, Stuart, and it is so difficult because that Elder Dragon being secured by T1, there's no other objectives outside of the Baron that you can play for, and if you lose the flip for the Baron, it's done. Yep. It's game over.
Yeah, it's at the point in the game now, the Baron is so strong, the Elder Dragon's already strong, that they're going to look to engage, but Jong's on the Snitch!
Okay, Jong, Hextech Ultimatum gets cancelled out by a well-timed stasis from Snitch. Moonfall already answered in the back. Seven finding Core onto the back line, but he flashes away the stasis. Meanwhile, Jong is just wrecking house members one after one once again. Seven doesn't even have a chance to answer back. Somehow Core didn't go down. It is just absolutely astounding to see how well T1 can play around each other's strengths and weaknesses, understanding where to be, and it's their teamwork that guarantees the win in this series.
GG, well played. Over to the side of T1 again, a lot slower early game than what we expect coming out of them into Icons. They were down in gold, but again, it's the team fights for Team 1, and it's the defensiveness of T1 and knowing when to go in and knowing their little microplay.
Just the absolute awareness too. I think T1 understanding everyone's internal cooldowns on each other. You even go back to that dragon fight where Jong just went absolutely massive, the quadra kill. That was all thanks to, obviously, himself isolating, picking off targets one by one, but also JY and Core using themselves as bait to force RIX into